So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video. We're back again. Blimey, folks, 3 days in a row I've put out a video. It's mental, isn't it? It's like the old times. But look, we're going to cover more UFL today because this came out yesterday. Pretty much, I'm going to go through this video and then I'm going to dissect it down. Anything I think is interesting for you guys to know, I'll leave it in here, right? So we'll look at some gameplay as always. And then they have some discussions with the development team. And look, folks, the reason I'm putting so much UFL out is this game really should be on a lot of people's radar. Whether you like the gameplay right now or not, it's down to the fact that this company, Strikers Inc., are being very transparent. They're putting out stuff constantly. They're telling us what they're working on, you know, the development of the game, how it's progressing. I love to see it. Very few companies this day and age do that. I mean, Konami, you don't hear boo from a goose, you know what I mean? EA, well, I mean, EA's already got FIFA, so they're already there. Goals, different direction. I don't really think that's going to be too popular. So UFL really is the only game right now, football-wise, to take a gander at. So we're going to dive into it. So there we go. Right, there will be timestamps in the description if you need them. Well, I'll try and timestamp it correctly. And also, regarding the new series, right, this is what we're going to do, folks. We will be back with the Master League. I think I'm just going to do Football Life like I was doing with my quick stream I did before with Napoli. I only did like 3 or 4 episodes. But I'm going to be doing it with Man United once again. It will be a brand new season. And we're going to basically control Manchester United like we would at the end of this season. So David De Gea, we might sell him. You know what I mean? We'll bring in another goalie. I'll ask you guys. It'll be very interactive, a bit of fun. So stay tuned for that. All right, let's do this. And here we go. All right, folks. So we're going to run through this. All right. I will go back and look at things as well during the course of this video. But yeah, we'll go back and look at things here and there and compare. This was previously in part 1. And then they were talking about the foundations. Remember that video? Put that out, talking about low passes, the different variations, etc. And now we're going to dive into part 2, where they're talking about, well, it says core gameplay. Oh, look, we've got a bit of a menu. I was going to ask, actually, I wonder what the UI looks like. So there we have it. That's pretty much what they're going for. Remember, this is all technically, you know, what's the word? Not final. There you go. You know, anything could change. But it looks like they obviously have settings, statistics, spectator mode, interesting, and then leave match. And then it will tell you the team you are, etc., the players and their ratings and the tactics. All right, looks like they're on Xbox there, to be honest. Yeah, there they are, Xbox. Long story short, let's discuss goalkeepers. So we've made the mock-ups for lots of keeper animations for different heights. They have several presets for different trajectories. What was he saying there? Of an incoming ball. Our animation system chooses the most appropriate one, judging by the height of the ball first. What is the most important? That we set up the animations with the maximum precision, and then the system can launch them correctly. Interesting. But besides the animation, there is also a technical part that concerns the football itself, such as keepers should not touch the ball with his hands outside the box. He should be able to head the ball. Did they say that? What do you say? He should be able to work with headers. The hard thing is to put it all together. If you ask me, a goalie is an extremely hard system to work on. A keeper saves in many different ways. He can even save with his back. And we have to implement all of this. True. How do you set up the abilities for a goalkeeper? How do you keep the things balanced and decide whether he can save a shot or when it's just impossible, at least for this specific keeper? Here again, we use the same, or the game logic. We have to take into account lots of different factors when setting it up. It's not possible for a ball to travel with the same speed every time and for a keeper to catch it all the time too. It just doesn't happen in real life. Very true. We should take into consideration the skills and characteristics of the attacker. So I have to go back sometimes, not that fast. These factors are really crucial for its success, as well as the whole context of the current match. Moving on a little bit further, and we'll go back and look at the gameplay afterwards. I really want to just talk about the them telling us some stuff, because I do think it's interesting to have some context. Oh, look, like a double touch right there. Right, flicks. We've already asked you about this. You mentioned that you've had a lot of flicks, but you showed us only the rainbow. If you guys saw this before, it was very high, the loft. We definitely didn't have lots. of flicks. What did he say? I said there are around 5 of them. Okay, so why don't you show us some of those right here? Where's that? For now, goalkeepers can do it. Was it okay? So this is basically a double touch. This is a double touch from the looks of it. If you're going from eFootballness, I guess they're calling him flicks, not skills. To each his own. Show me a rainbow. By the way, here's the flick you haven't seen before. There it is, like a pirouette, isn't it? Like here. So there's the rainbow flick. It does look better than it did. It was like ridiculous last time, so they've definitely improved it. But I mean, how many times are you going to do a rainbow? Is it really possible to use it successfully against a real person? It is possible. No, really, rainbow is a very useful trick. Well, I don't want it that useful. I'm serious. I really like to use it myself. You see, you send the ball up, and how can someone take it if the ball is up so high? All right, can you show me that flick where a player turns around with the ball? Do you have it? Of course he does. So here we go. Here we have some input issues. We know about this bug. We still didn't finish the input system, so they're having some input problems. But yeah, there you go. And you could do this the other way around as well. Once again, another input issue. But yeah, just kind of showing you. They don't look ridiculous, do they, at least? They are somewhat, you know, simmy-like. Are there any trademark flicks that only specific footballers are able to perform? That's an interesting one. We want to implement it. It's not in the game right now, but we are planning to do this. And as I understand, the footballer's role will determine which flicks from your great number he can do at all. Now we're back into the car. So it seems to me when you play football simulation games, we don't really want to see the unique and unexpected events we sometimes have in real-life football. We want the game to be more predictable or regular, without any freaky mistakes and weird moves from real life. It will be an arcade then, not a football sim. Sometimes in football sims, you are pretty sure that you should score a goal if you take a certain position. I wouldn't say that. You have no doubt in it, and then when you miss, it really upsets you. You cannot understand how it was possible to miss from such a perfect position. I mean, I guess you've all been there and seen that happen. However, this is a must. If you can score every time you shoot from a certain position, what kind of game would this be? That's exactly right. The game process will become extremely predictable. What's the point in playing it if everyone aims for the same position to score identical goals? Everything that concerns keepers is a lot harder than any work with field players. For us, a development phase of a goalkeeper system became a totally different world. He lives by different rules. He cannot sprint using the regular patterns. He runs differently from the field players, moves differently, does everything in his own way. It's completely different and much more sophisticated. We overcame so many various challenges and we still have more work to do. But we are quite sure we'll overcome all of them one by one. We invent absolutely new things, and at some point they appear to be just brilliant. But later, we see it from another point of view, and it doesn't look that good anymore. We update and we evolve this system all the time. What I'm trying to say is that we have finished our set of flicks. I see some step overs there, but we still have lots of work to do with flicks as a general feature. I think I get what you mean, he says. Do you and your team have an agreement to what extent you should polish the feature? What is it you're aiming for in terms of release quality? I mean, you have to have already decided what you should achieve up to release date. And which improvements will follow with the post-release updates? He says, you mean the flicks for now? He says, yeah, okay. So no, we can't release it just now. So you wait, just like other people, for a time when someone says it's ready. No, I'll say it myself. When they're ready, they're ready. Most flicks should be useful, functional, not just pretty. He's talking about skills here, folks, basically. Let's take the rainbow. It looks nice indeed, but above all, it should be effective. Yeah, but it should be easy. But it won't affect other actions. No, if you start the rainbow, while you're performing a sliding tackle on me, you'll do so. Another question. I'm just curious. You sure you guys work together? In other football sims, there may be situations when during a flick, your defender cannot do a thing, right? They're locked into that pre-canned animation. They basically get glued to a flick and stuck, or they get dragged towards it. Which means your defenders cannot intercept a ball, whatever they try, and it's frustrating. We have this? Probably, but again, only if we have some other mechanic affecting you, which is definitely quite possible. All right, moving on, folks. Do you work on kicks as well? A little, he says. And what shots do you have? Do you need a list? No, just show me what you have. They've got the direct pass, the ground pass, the lob shots, whatever else. Are they in game, or are they going to tell me that all these shots are not yet implemented? You name 3 shots. Well, we have 4. Let's start with the simple ones. Show us some, baby. That's what he says. Actually, on the other hand, just show us a long shot. Oh, here you go. I'm shooting. Uh-oh. Seems someone removed the goalie again. Another time. Well, it's good to know we're not releasing tomorrow. It's a technical build. So here's a second shot. Oh, that was good. Okay, let's check the standard kick. So balloon that one over the bar. The attack was just too poor. It was long range. What about a shot from a pass? Give us the cross in from the flanks. So we'll get the ball down the wings. As if I'm playing into the box and you're trying to score. Oh, he intercepted it. As we all know, there are always some issues with free kicks in all football sims. They usually change the way it should have been performed and so on. Here's the target. It's more or less standard. I suppose you've seen something similar. If you don't do anything, a timer starts. Okay, they're basically using FIFA's free kick system, as you can tell. Yeah, it's all about timing. It's not implemented in a technical build. I just don't want to make it ridiculously hard to do. It's the same with penalties. Yep, we can show you that now. Give them a foul. No, you missed it. In order to a kick type, then your ball will travel just using the basic info, but we'll have the target. What about long free kicks into the area? I mean, a long whipped in without having a shot. So there it is. As you guys can see, that's how it's going to work from the free kicks. Went for the old specialty. We wanted to make it a surprise, but if you want to pull out all the cards on the table, you can. I mean, it's not in the game now, but we're thinking about it. But it is planned. What is planned? Don't know. What were they mentioning? We wanted to make it a surprise. Do you really want to set up individual tactics for crosses into the box? Okay, so yeah, they're talking about that. That's not in the game right now, folks, but they are looking into it. And it is planned. We didn't put too much thought into it so far. Actually, the whole system of set pieces is kind of a secondary part of the game. It will be the cherry on top. What we are working on, first and foremost, is the core gameplay itself. Smart. Right, so what's taking the most time, effort, and energy from the team? Trapping the ball, then. Trapping, yeah. You need to teach footballers how to get the ball with the optimal speed and as quick as possible. Finding the best path, not giving up on the ball to an opponent, and so on. It's very complicated. Passes are so different with different powers in them. And a footballer should adjust to his partner's speed and tempo and understand where to run and what to expect. So trapping was the hardest, and goalkeepers for sure. We still didn't finish this feature yet. The hardest thing with trapping the pass is that you can't allow a player not to touch the ball, not to make a kick. If there was contact, we should have this contact. It's just absolutely impossible otherwise. Better tell me where to turn here, he says. Go straight. A little longer. Now, finally, folks, they were discussing the release and also a couple of things that generally is probably a big worry of a lot of companies these days, what with, you know, people's opinions can be very subjective and harsh sometimes. So I know that you hate this question, but tell me about your plans, right? Don't just say it'll be all right, no worries, like everyone else does. What are you afraid of the most? Are there any fabulous features that you're gonna work on? And another one, what are you expecting during the pre-release period? What do you think it'll look like? Well, really, we wait for the day when everything will work as we want it to. And we're afraid of, well, I'm afraid of the audience's reaction. You're afraid of the reaction because you're bringing this new project to this traditional market? Yes, I'm afraid they will say, what do you make of this kind of a mobile game? We've been waiting for so long, you've promised so much, and that's all we've got. We've heard this before. Well, you know what I mean. How can you minimize this reaction to some extent to make peace with the thought that the game will be speeding up after the release, that it can and should be evolving all the time? How are you going to prepare for players like this? It would sound more like an excuse. We need to have everything from the start because the bar is super high and you just cannot release a bad product. eFootball at launch. What else? Is that it? It just won't work for us. Simple as that. Actually, it never works for anyone. So there we have it. That's all, folks. And there we go. So that is the lads talking about the game. And we'll quickly go back and have a look at some of the actual gameplay. And I know it was a long one, but folks, I really... Oh, and there was a look at the... ooh, hang on. So there's your screen. Interesting, isn't it? I mean, it still looks better than eFootball, though, doesn't it? Just give me a nice UI. Simple. Simple. But anyway, yeah, the reason I wanted to put that out, and I will try and dissect it. If I think it's worth putting in this video, I'll put it in. I do want people to fully understand, like, the development of a football game. I don't know, okay? I'm not a coder. I'm not a developer. But I understand it takes a lot of patience. And from all the football games that we've seen, it does take a lot of work. And then them telling you that the goalies are one of the hardest things to work on. Interesting. I didn't really know that. I mean, I would have thought the goalies aren't the hardest, but thinking about it, yeah, there is a lot that goes into it. But I do love the fact that this company, these developers, are just telling us things straight off the bat. It's raw. It's simple footage. They've shown us the bugs. They're letting us know how the game is handling. And I will say it's interesting because... Remember when we saw this before? It looked very, very fast. And there are still elements of this where I'm looking at it, I'm going, okay, it's arcadey. But then some of the passing looks slowed down and some of the dribbling looks a little bit slower. It's definitely going to have that hybrid mix, folks, of a sim / arcade. Because, like, when he's dribbling there, it's not ridiculously fast. I mean, yeah, there's not a whole lot of animation. They're all running the same way, but that's because they haven't finished a lot of the game. And that's why I'm kind of keeping my eyes on it, because, you know, they are adding these little skill moves. The ball still does kind of look like it is glued to the foot, so maybe I would like a little bit more separation there. But yeah, I think on a whole, definitely going to keep an eye on this one. I'll keep, putting out the footage when I can. I mean, they're just kind of watching the goalies' reactions. They look decent. I think there's potential here. I mean, there definitely is. They are going to be a company that I think are going to be around a while. And from the looks of it, once this game is out, which, it could be next year. I don't know when it could come out. Could be the end of 2025. Who knows? But they want to put something out that's ready to push out, that they're not going to get slandered for. So that's definitely a wise and smart move. Here was a look. I think the goalkeeping here, just kind of the way he caught that and then missed it. The way the balls are whipped in, the goalie comes out, very simple. So they have elements of FIFA in there, right? We've seen that from the set pieces with a little cursor. It's exactly the same as FIFA's elements, which I've never ever said it's bad to copy different things from different games. I mean, as long as you're adding your own style into the mix, I've nothing against it. What else we got here? But yeah, just going through a couple of gameplay highlights, test them out, have a look at them. Here's the dribbling again. There's a nice little step over. You see, the defending is what I'm also looking at. And if you look at the defending here, it looks very difficult. The players are just running straight past the ball. So it's definitely not going to be like eFootball, where you just hold down a button and the player laser beams himself into the ball and gets it, right? I wouldn't hope so. I really hope there is a skill factor in this game when it is released. But anyway, let me know your thoughts below. There's the little double touch. Look at it. Look at that cute little double touch. Ding dong. Looks good, doesn't it? But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Don't be too harsh on it, folks. They are a brand new company. Remember, this is fresh out of the old barrel, isn't it? They're working on something new, and I really, really hope that this game does take off. I do, purely for the fact that it's competition, and we need competition out there. So I'm not going to be too harsh on it, because I've seen them evolve this game. From what we saw first of all to now, yeah, they're getting somewhere. And they still have a lot of work to do, as they've mentioned. They haven't finished a lot of the input problems, and the animations are still not there. The set pieces still need to be worked on completely, and tackling and everything else. So That's pretty much it. Let me know your thoughts below. Do we have any other more gameplay? Little snippets here of, I don't know what happened there. See, if you kind of watch, I mean, that's a nice little save. Look good. Right here, you see the way the players ran into each other. Interesting. I mean, that should be a foul, really, shouldn't it? But, yeah, so it's not. It's not gameplay ready. And there's another challenge for you. Let's have another look. Where's that one? Bosh. But the way he fell down, it didn't look terrible. Actually, you know what I'm going to do, just because it's always fun to do this, is slow the game down, and then you can see. Doesn't look terrible, does it? I mean, the way the guy kind of gets up looks a bit odd, but I'm just talking about the way this guy falls. Looks natural-ish. And remember, this is on the Unreal Engine, okay? So as the Unreal Engine updates, these games are going to get a big boost as well. And I do think this company are going to keep the graphics up to date, you know, and they're gonna keep pushing this game a lot. So anyway, that's all today. All for today. We will be back starting the brand new Master League with Man United on Football Life. We'll have all the stadiums. We'll get back to it. Lovely jubbly. But until next time, subscribe for more and take care.